Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu is in Turkey on a strategic state visit, and preparations are underway for bilateral talks and official engagements. State House correspondent Adesuwa Omoruan has more on this.
President Bola Tinubu touched down in Ankara on Monday, beginning a state visit to the Republic of Turkey, his first to the country since assuming office. He was received by Turkish and Nigerian officials at the airport and his hotel, marking the start of engagements aimed at deepening bilateral relations between both countries. The visit comes nearly 5 years after Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan paid an official visit to Nigeria in 2021, a relationship the presidency now describes as strategic. Foreign trips by Nigerian leaders often raise questions back home about costs and tangible benefit. I asked the president's special advisor on policy communication why this visit matters.
The president just arrived moments ago, but there are a lot of expectations when it comes to traveling and benefits back at home.
Right.
What should Nigerians be looking forward to with this trip, or is it just another trip?
No, it's not another trip. It's a strategic trip. First of all, it's an invitation by this government because, of course, you know, the president of Nigeria was a leader of ECOWAS. He's a person of influence in Africa. Nigeria also has a strong force in Africa, and with the exceptional breakthrough that we're having in all fields in Nigeria, in the economy, area of security, politics and all that. So the president showed up today for the state visit, and we're looking to the program probably starting from tomorrow. We'll look at those areas of possibilities that the two parties are going to explore, in the area of defense, security, in the area of economy. In fact, we have the ministers of the various fields that we intend to have bilateral talks on. They are also on this trip and ready to go.
The visit also follows President Tinubu's recent trip to Abu Dhabi, the United Arab Emirates. Bola highlights how Turkey fits into Nigeria's wider engagement with the Middle East.
He's a very influential leader that world leaders know. Of course, you must be aware of the relationship between Nigeria and the U.S. following the little problem we had before. That's because of the personality and the leadership that the president brings on board. So most of these leaders, especially we just, like you said, we finished with the United Arab Emirates and now with the government and the people of Turkey. Of course, you know, historically, they are good in the area of security. They also have the capacity to produce weapons that are key and critical to what we need. We also have areas where we've been of help to them. If you look at Turkey-Nigeria relationship over the years, you see investment by the Turkish people, Turkish government in Nigeria. You see also the value Nigerian people and the Nigerian government has over the years brought to the Republic of Turkey. And so this is a shared meeting for shared interests, and also a meeting that we're looking to, at the end of the day, we will give you information as to the deliverables of what will come out of it.
For the Tinubu administration, the challenge will be translating these diplomatic engagements into measurable economic and security gains back home. From Ankara, Turkey, Adesuwa Omoruan, Arise News.
Joining us from Ankara, Turkey, is State House correspondent Adesuwa Omoruan for a lot more on this. Good morning, Adesuwa. Many thanks for joining the show. Hope you can hear me clearly.
Very well, thank you, Abby. Thanks for having us.
Most welcome. Well, let's begin with how President Bola Tinubu's strategic visit to Turkey could translate into concrete trade, investment or manufacturing partnerships that could directly benefit Nigerian businesses and SMEs. What can you tell us about this?
Well, Abby, we are told that this state visit is structured around tangible deliverables and moving away from symbolism, particularly in areas where Turkey is already operating in emerging economies and markets such as defense manufacturing, engineering, agro-processing, and the likes. And the key outcome for SMEs and businesses in Nigeria will be integration into those Turkish value chains to reduce import dependence and, of course, you know, improve processing back at home, value addition, to sum it up, Abby.
Right. Now, surely quite a lot of expectation of this end there, but which sectors are most likely to see immediate commercial gains from the Nigeria-Turkey bilateral talks, and why, in your opinion, please, Adesuwa?
Well, like I said, this visit is very narrow specific, and the government of Nigeria seems to be intentional on having sector specific conversations rather than general conversations that lack substance. And so in reiterating my point earlier that there are specific sectors that Turkey already operates in emerging markets such as agro-processing, military defense, engineering, defense production and engineering. And for Nigeria, those are where we have demands at the moment. When you're talking about insecurity, we do need the production, particularly at home, even though we have DICON, which is a parastatal setup in Nigeria that helps produce equipment and logistics needed in the military and the armed forces to fight insecurity. Having collaboration with a country like Turkey, which is globally competitive in defense, manufacturing and engineering, is definitely a plus. And we should see immediate, the expectations are that there should be immediate gains from such collaborations. And I can tell you that the Minister of Defense is making his debut outing with the President on a state visit since becoming Minister of Defense, talking about retired General Christopher Musa. He's here. When you talk about construction and manufacturing as well, we should also see quick gains in that sector, Abby, considering the market size and the demand in Nigeria. So while Turkey may bring in the capital and the expertise, of course, Nigeria can leverage on what it has to expand such relationship that becomes a win-win for both countries. We also have a minister making his debut as well as the Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Senior Advocate. He is making a debut on a state visit with the president to Ankara, Turkey. So those sectors, Abby, would be closely watched because they seem like the low-hanging fruits.
Right, certainly that cannot be overstated, and quite a myriad of activities surely there for you as well, Adesuwa. Now, on a wider scope and from a business confidence perspective, how important are high-level state visits like this in positioning Nigeria as an attractive destination for foreign direct investment in the current global economy? You've alluded to quite a number of points so far.
A very important question, Abby, because the question is always what are the benefits of this several trips by the president and his vice president. But Abby, that investors usually look for political stability, they look for government backing and, of course, policy clarity before they put their money anywhere. And state visits by the highest level of political authority involving the president on both stages, President Bola Tinubu and President Tayyip Erdogan, does reinforce such confidence in investors that whatever MOUs, whatever agreements are reached here, they do have the backings of the highest authority of governments from both countries. And so, that reduces risks and improves confidence for investors anywhere because there is policy clarity, there is government backing, like I said, and of course, political stability. But beyond that, Abby, it is also what happens afterwards. What happens after Ankara is almost more important than what is done here in Ankara this week.
Certainly, very cogent points there, Adesuwa, but many thanks for these updates, and we'll certainly look out for a lot more from you as newer events unfold. Thank you for joining the show.